Hey again, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So this morning I'm putting together some spring bouquets and I thought I would set up the camera to show you guys what this week's harvest looked like. So let's get everything out of the cooler. My cooler here at my storefront is actually an entire room. When we did our renovation last year, I had them frame out roughly an 8x8 room. We heavily insulated it. It's got a moisture barrier, and this entire room is my cooler. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, let's get the light on. It's looking pretty empty right now, but last week it was completely full with tulips for Mother's Day. I do happen to have one miscellaneous crate left with 90 tulips that I'm saving for next week, but these are the flowers that we're looking at this week. Now, this entire room is powered by a split unit, and then off to the side here, if you're not familiar, this is called a CoolBot, and this plugs into the split unit air conditioner, overrides the temperature to make it as cold as I want it. Right now it says it's 40 degrees in here, which is probably because I opened the door, but I think I have it set at 38. So let's get all of these flowers and those out of the cooler, and I'll show you what we're working with. All right, so before I go through all the flowers that I'm working with, I have to say all of these were harvested right outside in my garden or in my hoop house. And it is so nice to have flowers already in the spring. And for those of you new to my channel, I grow in Zone 5A in Northwest Iowa. The tulips were all grown outside, actually right out the windows behind me. I don't even know how many thousands that I planted, but I'm pretty much using all of them. Those were planted last fall, of course. And then the rest of the flowers I'm going to be showing you, these all came out of the hoop house. So the first ones, this beautiful bucket of ranunculus. A lot of these are the Amadine variety. I think I had some Hanoi at some point too. You'll have to go back and watch my video about my hoop house surprise, because my ranunculus, however you say it, wintered over, and I had left a bunch of corms in the ground and they came up again this spring. So it was like free flowers. So this year, I'm going to let them die back when they're done, and I'm not going to do a thing. I'm going to let them die back. When the leaves are dry, I'll remove the leaves. I'll put a little topsoil over top of them and plant over top of them. I'm not going to lift them or store them or anything. But anyway, these are the ones I'm working with. Lots of beautiful different colors, so I'll probably pop a few of these in each bouquet. And then I went ahead and rehydrated some tulips for this week. So I have a few left. I'm using mainly the blush pink because, ta-da! This is what I harvested out of the hoop house this morning. So we have pink snapdragons. These are Potomac something, I can't remember. These were planted last fall as plugs that I got from Farmer Bailey. They wintered over, and they're now just blooming. Now, I've noticed the stems are not quite as beefy as the normal ones I have outside, but they're great. These are great. I also am harvesting this dianthus. These stems are long. These are great, and they're not fully open yet. They'll continue to open. And then, of course, cress. I've been using this the last couple weeks. This was self-seeded. I love it. It's such a great filler. And then a little surprise to me, these were some seeds that I think I planted last summer, and these must have self-seeded. I've got some beautiful saponaria. I've got pink and white, and there's still some out there growing. So this is just kind of a fun little surprise that'll add a little sparkle to the bouquet. So let's get started on putting these together. So the first thing that I always do before I even start grabbing flowers for my bouquet is get my paper ready. I buy 18-inch wide rolls of paper. You can see it behind me here off Amazon. And then I cut it into squares and then fold it into a triangle, usually kind of offsetting the corners a little bit. And this is the perfect size for me for my wrap bouquet. So I've got a couple of those ready. I've also got rubber bands, scissors, my clippers, anything that I'm going to need. And then I need to go ahead and fill a bucket with water, because these are going to go in water back in the cooler till my client picks them up. So these are going to be $25 bouquets. And so I'm not going to go through the value of every flower as I put this together, because I actually have to open the store in like 10 minutes. But you'll see what a general $25 bouquet looks like. So first I'm going to grab the cress. I will put a couple of these together for you guys. And I just kind of get rid of a few of the bottom leaves. I already have stripped these when I harvest them out of the hoop house. Now I'm going to surround it with, I think, 3 snapdragons. I am going to put a saponaria in the center. Oh my gosh, look at what that adds. That is so pretty. I've got to plant more of this. I need to make sure I have seed for this. So I just kind of intertwine this in with the cress so that you can see it around. And then, sorry, this bucket's on the floor. You know what? I think I'm going to do 4 snapdragons since they aren't quite as beefy. And I'm usually not an all pink person, but these are really pretty. Now the dianthus are going to go in last. I'm putting those around the outside, but I want to tuck a couple of these ranunculus in here. So I'm just going to do white, put a couple, and then I need some tulips. And I have been using red in with the pink, but I think this one I'm going to make all pink. It's kind of like a salmon pink, actually. All right, let's do, that one's different. Let's do 4. I think this variety is Menton. That's looking good. I'm going to add 1 more of these ranunculus in here. That's looking good. All right, time to put a few dianthus around the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, there it is. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, and my clippers, oh, right behind me. So I'm going to trim to the shortest stem, which these are not very short. Then I'm going to rubber band it. Oops. Let's try that again. Now there was a little dirt on the stem, so I just gave it a quick rinse. And then I'm going to wrap it. So I like to cradle it once, put a staple here, flip the top over, kind of fold it on the inside, staple it again, and then there's that beautiful bouquet. I'll put a close-up up on the screen. I love those. All right, I'm going to make another one because I know this person that is coming in definitely wants one. Sometimes her mom comes along, so I want to make sure to have another one ready if her mom's with her. And I did do a social media post with the ones that went out the door yesterday. I had about 4 or 5 that went out the door yesterday. So just in case anyone else stops in. It is so fun to have snapdragons this early. I have never had snapdragons this early before. At first, I was not quite sure if fall planting the snapdragons was going to be worth it because they were looking a little bit sad. I think that they got a little cold. In fact, I did end up losing some of them around the edge, but I was getting spring plugs, and so then I ended up planting more to fill in the gaps. But it was kind of all of a sudden, once the temperatures hit a certain point, they woke up and came to life and just almost overnight put on growth. Now this one I'm making a little different. I'm putting in some reds and pinks and purples because I have red tulips and I just kind of want to offset that red-pink difference. So I'm putting in purple ranunculus. There we go. I'm going to put in this white saponaria. All right, time for dianthus. 3, and I'm going to put 1 more of these in because my snapdragons were a little smaller and I was short of dianthus, just to kind of even out the value. Okay, there's bouquet number 2. This one's also got some mud around the bottom, so I'm going to give it a quick rinse. Tulips in the crease of the leaves always have mud. But I always kind of joke with my customers, you know that it's freshly harvested when it still has a little bit of mud on it. Literally, these were harvested 10 minutes ago. The snapdragons and the crescent dianthus, that is. The tulips and ranunculus have been in the cooler since the weekend. That is still way fresher than any florist delivery. All right, there's the next one. So pretty. So this bucket of bouquets is going to go back in the cooler. And when the client picks up, I usually hand out a tulip care card to tell them that the tulips will keep growing. The ranunculus, I mean, you can see the difference from when it's harvested to when it's starting to open, and they even get bigger than this. So there's quite a difference, and I find that those last a long time. So I'm probably going to make a few more bouquets just to use these, or maybe take some home for myself. This one's looking a little weathered, so I might just get rid of him. So yeah, that is what this week's harvest looks like. The next video you guys will probably see are all the dahlias I'm growing for this summer. I also want to do a walk around the garden and just kind of show you a few things, but we are having 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts today, and that was not going to do it with the microphone. So next week, I have some certain things that I'm going to want to show you in the garden, so watch for that video as well. But time to get these in the cooler and time to open the storefront. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.